So we're starting a new live here, going to give people an opportunity to join in on this stream. Unfortunately, due to some technical difficulties, the connection wasn't really the best, and it was a little bit choppy on our end. The visuals weren't looking as crisp as we would have wanted. So we're going to try and go ahead with the vertical stream. Again, if you're just joining us, I want to give you guys the opportunity here to join us on stream. Unfortunately, again, not the best start to it, but I mean, hey, these things happen. You got to learn to kind of improvise, and we move from there. Unfortunately, as I was saying, the connection with that last one wasn't really the best. So again, we're going to give people an opportunity here to join in on this stream. I left a comment on the previous streams chat to give you guys that heads up that, hey, we're going to be moving over here. So unfortunately, that last stream, again, the connection was just off. We're going to go ahead with here, making sure everything's copacetic, making sure everything is good. So far I'm seeing good. Let me know in the chat if you guys are okay with the connection here. But nonetheless, as we continue to get our settings straightened out here, not the best start. It's not the start I would have wanted for a stream, especially following Wrestlepalooza. You know, as I was talking about at the top of the stream, Wrestlepalooza should have been this monumental event that the WWE had produced, allowing not only diehard fans like you and I to celebrate this new era of the WWE, but also as an opportunity to bring in new fans through the ESPN app and have them come in exposed to this new world of entertainment that is the WWE. There has been a level of criticism not only from fans but also critics alike who have basically said that the show was underwhelming. If you look online, even ESPN had graded the Wrestlepalooza event C. They gave him a C. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm not fishing for C's. I'm trying to get that B's or A's. And they said that the show was very underwhelming. They said that the match, the saving grace, was Stephanie Raquel and the Io Sky matchup. Now, for me personally, I am of the mindset that the women really took over on this match, on this show, because the women's matchup and the mixed tag, to me, were the highlights of the show. Aside from that, it was an average show. I think the heavy criticism and complaints are going to go towards the John Cena and Brock Lesnar matchup. They had that open up the show, which I thought was a fine call. If that wasn't going to be in the main event, the opening spot is fine as well. Once I heard that that was going to be the opener, that opened up the possibility of John Cena taking the L, because they're not going to have him, close out this show in a loss. I thought. So once they said they were going to open it, I was like, okay, this is going to open up an opportunity for Brock to go over. But then we see reports. I had uploaded a video on TikTok as well as here on the shorts about the reports saying that initially the plan was to have John Cena go over, beat Brock Lesnar as he continues this farewell tour, but somewhere along the lines, during the day of Wrestlepalooza, it was changed, it was altered, and audible was called, and they had Brock Lesnar go over. Now, number one, I'll speak for myself. I don't know about you guys out there, but I did not want to see Brock versus Cena. This was not a match that I was dying to see on the farewell tour. There are plenty of other individuals that John Cena should be in the ring with. Brock Lesnar was not a matchup that I needed to see. That, to me, was the biggest indication that they're going for the big money matchup. Brock Lesnar, John Cena, two huge names that the average fan is familiar with, or not even the average fan, but just new fans in general know who John Cena, know who Brock Lesnar is. That was the first indication. When I look at the broad spoke of it all, John Cena is in his farewell tour, and we're having him face off against Brock Lesnar and gets essentially squashed. I know it was an 8-minute matchup, John Cena got a little bit of offense in there, nailed 3 attitude adjustments to no avail. But it was essentially a glorified squash. And it's like, what are we doing? What are we doing here? Why did Brock go over? Let alone, why did this match take place? As of right now, there are no plans for this to be built into something more. It's a one-off. It's one and done. But then it's like, well, so why did Brock want to face Cena? What was the purpose of this? Who was this for? John Cena takes the L. And now I suppose it's a way to garner sympathy for John Cena. It's an opportunity to push John Cena as this sympathetic babyface as he has less than 6 appearances left. But for Brock Lesnar, moving forward, what are we building towards here? For him to beat John Cena. Now, granted, I did say on the prediction stream that you don't bring a guy like Brock Lesnar back just to have a loss. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. But to beat him in the manner that he did, beat John Cena, that is, why should I be invested in this story anymore? What is the end game of it all? I know Cena's going to retire, but you look at the overall run of the retirement tour of John Cena, and I truly believe that they have fumbled along the way. It should not have been this complex. It certainly should not have been this convoluted. But you have John Cena start the year off at the Royal Rumble, wanting to win a championship, wanting to win number 17. That's the premise. That's the main story. That is what it's all about when it comes to this retirement tour. And he gets eliminated in the Royal Rumble. Fine. A little bit of drama. That's fine. I would have had him or Punk win. They went with Jay. Totally fine with that. Then in the Chamber, he wins. Gets that championship opportunity. Again, I'm fine with that. And they go with the heel turn. They do the unthinkable, and they go with the heel turn. And I applaud them for that. I applaud them for taking the risk and saying, you know what, we're going to pull the trigger. We're going to have him play heel leading into WrestleMania 41. Totally fine with it. But then the follow-up, where we didn't have really a reason as to why Cena turned heel alongside Travis Scott and The Rock. We still have never gotten an explanation for that. I highly doubt we will. He has a subpar matchup with Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 41. He then goes on to have a matchup with Randy Orton. Fine. It's a good match. Have a match with CM Punk. It was fine. It was a good match. Have an average tag team match at Money in the Bank before finally having the pipe bomb, which again was going to be a highlight of this last run, and then turns babyface right before the SummerSlam match with Cody. And on top of that, I just skipped over the whole R-Truth thing because apparently they skipped over the R-Truth thing. Ron Killings, I thought was going to be a revelation on the roster, but that really didn't materialize into anything, and he's just reverted back to the comedy character, which is fine. I like Ron as a comedy character. He's great in that. But don't give us something. Don't tease something and not follow through with it. It's the inconsistency for me. So you had John Cena have this short-lived heel turn that I think will be forgotten. People will forget about this heel run. They'll remember the heel turn, but the heel run itself left a lot to be desired. He turns babyface, has a great match with Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam, then has a really good match at Clash in Paris with Logan Paul, and also had a solid United States Championship matchup against Sami Zayn. It looked like we were going somewhere. He had 3 straight matches that, to me at least, were some of the best of his career during this last run, these last 5 years of John Cena. And then finally, he gets attacked by Brock Lesnar. And it's like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Who is this for? I'll tell you who it's for. It's for TKO. It's for all the people that are more prioritized with the money, with making a profit rather than making a good show. Money comes and goes. But the true value in this show is how well can you tell a story? How well can you produce a match? or just the moments. And unfortunately, with John Cena, this latest run, the retirement run, it's falling flat. It's falling flat. He only has a handful of appearances left. And we used up some crucial dates for what? I don't know what they were doing. I don't know what they were thinking with this last one. I'm a fan of John. I want him to have the proper send-off. I can only hope that his actual retirement match, that the last matchup of his career, is actually done well. Because right now, I have a lot of trepidation. I'm a little nervous when it comes to this final run. What is in store for John Cena? Or is something going to be changed along the way? Who knows how much has actually changed throughout the duration of this run? I'm sure later down the road, we're going to get some kind of documentary, some kind of special that will share the in detail scoop of the final run of John Cena. But until we get that, it's left to much speculation, much debate, and for better or for worse, much criticism. I think there could have been a lot better way, a huge improvement in terms of how they would have booked this final run for John Cena. In fact, that might be a video for the future. Maybe in December, once we get to the final run here, about how I would have booked John Cena's final run. As I mentioned, Wrestlepalooza, they got a C from ESPN, the very same company that has made a huge monumental deal with the WWE regarding their premium live events. And they got a C. Like, man, that's, in the word that they use, it's underwhelming. It really is. Love Cody, love Drew. The main event was fine. But again, it's like they played it safe. We talked about this on Saturday's stream. People were, a little upset because we were promised exciting twists and turns and surprises, and we didn't really get anything. And I thought, you know what? I'll give them the benefit of the doubt because I'm a patient person. Maybe a little bit too much patience on my end. But I think they played it safe, and they wanted to build that foundation for the long-term viewer and also the new viewer. Because if you start throwing so much at a new audience, you might get confused. You might get turned off. So I think they played it safe. But I still think it would have behooved them to have at least one major, happening. The biggest thing that happened really was Stephanie winning the championship, which was great. Love that. Love that for her. I think she'll be a great champion so long as they showcase her in the proper manner. Not how they did Io Sky earlier this year. Shout out to Johnny in the chat. Robert says last match will be Cena beating Brock. I don't want to see it though, Robert. To tell you the truth, I've seen that matchup already. Multiple times. I don't need to see it. Now, obviously, there are other matches they can run back. But with Brock, I don't want to see it. And also, I'm of the mindset where I think if you're going to retire, you got to lose. I think if Cena retires, he needs to lose, right? That's just the old tradition of it all. Who would I have him in his final match with? I think it's down to 3 names. For me, personally. One of them might be a reach just because of where we're at in the story. Carmelo Hayes, I think would be a great opportunity to showcase him, push him forward, getting him to beat Cena. Right now, in the current climate of it all, probably not likely. And that leads me to 2 names. I think Braun Breaker, with the whole Vision story, there is a possibility there. And I think Braun Breaker beating John would be huge for his career. If not him, Gunther's literally right there. And I think it's credible. It's believable. It will gain a little bit of heat on Gunther for beating the greatest of all time in John Cena. To me, it should be Gunther or Braun Breaker. Those are my 2 picks. Dion says, what do you think of Triple H's backlash from ESPN and pretty much of a whole nation? It's bad. You know what sucks, Dion, is Triple H over the last few years, his first few years as the head of creative, has built a great reputation with the fans in delivering quality stories, giving the fans something fresh, something different that they didn't get from Vince. But right now, he's hurting his own goodwill with the fans by not fulfilling some of these promises when it comes to the shows. You can't promise a big show and then not have it be a big show. Playing it safe with the creative. I have my own criticisms of Monday Night Raw because it feels like the Vision storyline has been rinse and repeat for like the last month. And then there's the women's division on SmackDown, which I'll get to here in a second here. But Triple H right now, hey, as much as I love Triple H and what he's done for the business and what he's done for WWE in these last couple of years, my guy, you're kind of slacking right here, man. We're kind of slipping, you know? We got to step it up. I don't know about you guys. I'm a big Triple H fan, especially in the creative chair. But lately, it's just the feeling's not there. The feeling is not there that we had from 2022 to early 2024 since Cody won the championship at WrestleMania 40. I don't think you could top that. It was still good, don't get me wrong. I enjoyed the rest of 2024. But once we saw WrestleMania 41, to me, that was it. WrestleMania 41, I thought was subpar. You were not going to top WrestleMania 39. You were not going to top WrestleMania 40. I don't know. Triple H is jealous, says Dude B. Dion says Dominic Mysterio. Hey, I'm a big Dominic fan. I don't know if that's the route they'll go, though. I don't know. Triple H himself will beat Brock and Cena. Come on. Come on. Will says, hi, Jose. How are things going with you this week? It's going well. Going real well. Watched AEW All Out. I thought that was a tremendous show. Watched Wrestlepalooza. It was okay. You know, I'm not going to completely trash the show. I really liked the mixed tag match. I really liked the women's matchup. Everything else was okay. But personally, I'm doing great. I'm doing fine. Appreciate you asking. Hopefully you're doing just as well, my friend. Thank you for joining us here. On a different type of stream, initially we had the traditional stream going, but due to technical difficulties, we're back here on the vertical because I want to talk to you guys about what's going on right now in WWE. Dion says, what would you improve? There's a big focus right now, and this isn't Triple H's fault, but there's a big focus on the advertisements and the importance of TKO and their businesses, right? I understand that it's a business and you have your sponsors and you have your deals, but it's like, man, we really need to focus back on what is the key of it all, and that's the wrestling. I really think that when it comes to the PLEs, 7 matches is the way to go. They keep going with 5. And even on that, one of my biggest complaints for the WWE and my biggest, compliments for AEW is that when they do their events, their premium live events / pay-per-views, there's variety, there's parity. You watch an AEW pay-per-view, you get a cage match, you get a street fight, you get a 4-way, you get a trios match, you get a ladders matchup. And the WWE, it's like you don't really get as much variety in this show. And especially now, as the WWE begins to expand even more than they have in the last year, you want to be bringing in more audience members and more fans. And I just feel like there is an opportunity there that's being messed up. Also, what is going on with the tickets, man? The tickets, the ESPN subscription, that's like $30. I mean, I know it's a business, but it's like, dude, come on. Let me know you're a little bit money hungry without telling me you're money hungry. Am I right? Robert says Sting won the tag belts in his last match. Not something you traditionally see. You see a lot of times the legends go out on their back, they take the L, and they retire. But Sting got the W. In fact, I don't know if you guys can see him. I got the Sting figure from AEW Revolution, his last match. You might be able to see it. Maybe I'll highlight it on a post later. Muhammad, what's going on? Appreciate you being here. Thank you for joining us here. Will says AEW All Out was 94% better than the Wrestlepalooza show. WWE is losing their ideas, and if Vince was still on WWE, the ideas would have been still there. I don't know with Vince McMahon. I still think I would much rather take this over the last few years of Vince. Vince was becoming increasingly incoherent with his storylines. You would get to a show and it would get rewritten the day of. Now, granted, that's what happened here at Wrestlepalooza, which is what I talked about in the TikTok slash short that I uploaded earlier today. This is one of those rare occurrences where this is exactly out of the Vince McMahon era, in that we just have a plan in mind and then they completely just kibosh it and do something else. I'm sick of them having these ideas, these long-term ideas, and then changing it. Case in point, at the Royal Rumble, Punk was supposed to win. Don't get me wrong, I love Jay. But it's like, man, what a moment for Punk that would have been. I don't know. Those are just little things I nitpick. But I do agree with you that AEW All Out was overall a better show. Muhammad asks, wasn't Jackie Redmond on Raw earlier tonight? You have a big fixation on Jackie Redmond, my friend. But yes, Jackie Redmond was on the show. She interviewed LA Knight earlier, right before his match against main event Jey Uso. And we talked about our complaints here with the WWE. I gotta talk about the SmackDown Women's title. Right now, the women's title, Tiffany Stratton, is defending the title against Nia Jax and Jade Cargill in a triple threat match this upcoming Friday to determine not only who the champion will be, but who will be facing off against Stephanie Vaquer at the Crown Jewel event. She has only had feuds against Jade and Nia, it feels like. I know she had the Charlotte matchup at WrestleMania. But is the SmackDown roster, the women's roster, really that depleted that it feels like it's just been a revolving door of Nia and Jade now that we have a triple threat match? I like Tiffany Stratton, but this title reign is becoming a little bit redundant, having faced off against Jade and, of course, Nia Jax. And then, get this, Jade Cargill wins the King of the Ring tournament, has a matchup at SummerSlam, loses that match at SummerSlam. Fast forward, and Jade pins Tiffany again on a different night of SmackDown, and then it's just magically the number one contender again after just having lost a match to Tiffany. Are they that depleted because they don't want to move up someone like Zelina, like Chelsea Green? I know Alexa and Charlotte are in the tag team division. Michin. You even have Julia there. Give us something new. Always having Nia and Jade in there, I'm tired of it. Honestly, it's not interesting. Is the SmackDown's women's division, and I want to like it because I think they're all talented. But in order to succeed, you got to put your talent in a position to succeed. And right now, they're not doing that for them. They're just not. Again, something I'm nitpicking at. Sir Robert says AEW was not a better show. If anyone thinks that, then you do not know what professional wrestling is. You like something else. Listen, professional wrestling is subjective at this point. There is a different style for everybody. But if you're going to tell me right now that the Brock Lesnar versus John Cena matchup objectively was a better matchup than some of the best matches on AEW, then we're going to have to agree to disagree. Again, I was a huge fan of the Stephanie matchup and the Punk and AJ matchup. But overall, I just feel like you got way more variety from that AEW show. Do you think about it? Says you might have already talked about it. What are your thoughts about Cena's loss to Lesnar? I'll reiterate. I'll talk about that here in a second. Do you think it makes him look weak? Do you think it would be cool if WrestleMania went to Seattle? So I see Dion's comment here. Where's Bianca? Still suffering from that injury. She's been injured this last few months. I think since really WrestleMania, she's had an issue with her hand. I think it was her finger or anything, but Bianca's been out. Hopefully we'll see her soon. I would love to see WrestleMania back in Seattle. I think it'd be interesting to see it in the Seattle Seahawks Stadium. Last time I checked, it was CenturyLink Field. I know the name has changed. It escapes me. But where the Seattle Seahawks play, I would love to see that. Just because something fresh, something new, would be a fan of that. As for the Cena Lesnar stuff, the matchup, man, it was a typical Lesnar match. Nothing to write home about. Just a bunch of suplexes, a bunch of kickouts. Cena hit 3 AAs. I just wasn't a fan of it, honestly. I wasn't that big of a fan of it. I wasn't a fan of the match to begin with. I don't like that Cena lost this matchup in the way he did, but personally, I would not even put him in the matchup to begin with. I don't know why they wanted that Brock matchup with him. Okay, granted, saying that out loud, I know why they wanted it, because it's big names trying to sell tickets. Business. But as a fan, I don't care about Brock Lesnar versus John Cena. I would rather see Brock Lesnar fight Gunther, Braun Breaker. Aside from those two matches, and I've said it time and time again, aside from those two matches, I'm done with Brock. I don't need to see him anymore. There's nothing new with Brock Lesnar. And then they put Heyman back with him for the one night, and it's like, what are we doing? It just seemed lazy to me. Was not a fan of it. What's up, Reese? How you doing, my friend? Tables and tax match with MJF and Briscoe was crazy. It was crazy. And all white, by the way, by MJF. Dethroned by Eli says, we also lost Safeco Field. I thought about that. Safeco Field for WrestleMania 19, man. What a beautiful looking setup. WrestleMania 19 and Safeco Field, 2003. All time type of a look. The stage, the field, the vibes, it was immaculate. I loved it. WrestleMania 19 is one of my personal favorite WrestleManias. I think it's up there with 17 for me personally. What's up, John? Dethroned by Eli says, Cena needs the IC title along with Sheamus. You know, it's not going to happen. Yeah, it's just not. And I hate to say that. Because heading into this retirement tour, I had said it's either going to be a number 17 world title reign or the IC title. It's not going to be both. But I would like to see Cena feud against Dominic. That's one thing I wish they would have done. They were so focused on these other stories, like Brock, like the Logan Paul stuff, which actually the Logan Paul match was pretty good. Not going to lie. But I would have loved to have seen Cena just come out and have these open challenges with guys like Dominic, Carmelo Hayes. I know people don't want to revisit Austin Theory, but hell, why not? Really give the rub to these younger guys. But I do think Sheamus should win that IC title, 100%. Will AEW's pay-per-views get them over 675K viewers Wednesday? Probably not. WWE is not good, and it pisses me off. Tony Khan has no idea what he's doing. I think he has the opportunity, though. I just feel like Tony Khan needs to surround himself with the proper, group. Because I think for the most part, Tony Khan has that opportunity to be a viable competitor. It's just not there yet. You can't get it overdone in overnight, John asks, so what is up with Jey Uso's injury? I read somewhere he was in concussion protocol because of that chair shot to the head that he sustained during their matchup, which was a quick blink and you miss it. All that blood coming out of nowhere, really. I had to rewind it and see. And even then, it was a difficult find to see where exactly he connected on the chair swing. Dude B says, why was Taker there? The only reason why Taker was there was to induct, well, not even induct, but to announce the induction of Stephanie McMahon. Aside from that, it caught me totally off guard. Muhammad says, I hope that John Cena can bounce back from this, hopefully. I'm sorry about the Jackie Redmond thing. Jackie's my girl, and what happened? I was just giving you crap. I'm just kidding about the Jackie Redmond thing. She's great. We all love Jackie Redmond. As for Randy, we last saw him getting saved by Cody, and I honestly thought we were going to see him interfere during the Drew match. But he didn't. When is Randy going to turn heel? Because really the next thing is for him to face Cody. And I saw a report somewhere that apparently Cody was to face Drew as originally planned, but that Randy was going to come out and accidentally cost him the title and Drew would have won the championship. That's something interesting. I would have been okay with that because it's something fresh, something exciting. Maybe it leads to the Randy and Cody matchup, but they didn't do it. Sir Robert, if you're a wrestler, you'll take what you can get. As a fan, it's completely different, dude. Fair. As a wrestler, it's business. And it's like as a fan, I've always said wrestling's like a buffet. Not everyone's gonna like AEW, not everyone's gonna like WWE, but I think it's important to keep an open mind. That's why I watch as much as I can. Even TNA, AAA. Will says, I'm feeling 2020, 2021 vibes off of Jey Uso. Yeah, a little bit of an aggressive side here for Jey. I kind of dig what they're doing with Jey Uso. Adding another level of depth to that character, especially the way he snapped at Jimmy. So keep an eye on Jey. I like what I'm seeing there. That's interesting to me. Dethroned by Eli says, of course they make Stephanie part of the show. I seriously can't stand that lady. I mean, she is married to the one who's running the show, and her father did create the company. Well, essentially her grandfather did, but her father is what made the company the way it is. So of course she's going to be there. Why Taker? Why not anybody else? Well, I mean, Taker goes way back with Stephanie. I mean, he has known her since she was a child, essentially, in those early years in the New Generation era and the Golden era. They have a good friendship, that rapport, that respect between Hunter and Undertaker and Taker and Stephanie. Maybe also as a way to throw her off. And I don't know why specifically Taker, but that is what I would surmise. Kyle says, is Randy going to overtake Cena eventually? I don't think so, but I would love to see it. I think Kyle, the best they can do with Randy is tie. I don't think he does. I don't think he ever, breaks 17. That's a record that might stand for decades because the closest one would be Randy. But he's in a position right now where he doesn't need the championship. Maybe he gets close. Thank you for the question, Kyle. Dethroned by Eli says, what do you think about the Jurassic Express reunion? I'm a fan. I love it. I love the moment that they had there. They weren't doing anything with Jack Perry. They weren't doing anything with Luchasaurus, formerly known as Killswitch. Bringing them back together the way they did, I'm for it. The crowd popped. I loved hearing the music. It's Tarzan Boy again. And it's going to be an interesting dynamic between the two because the last time we saw them together was certainly a different dynamic than what they are right now. Jack Perry and Luchasaurus have already gone through a darker version of their characters, a little bit of attitude adjustment. Shout out to John Cena. I do think that this next run with each other as a tag team could be potentially better than the original one. So I have my high hopes, and it looks like they're going to be feuding with the Bucks, which should be a good setup here for everybody. Young Bucks, one of the best tag teams in AEW. Jurassic Express, this will be a great way to kind of re-solidify them as a top tag team in the company. Robert says he tried to crucify her. Yeah. Shout out to the long-term viewer. Will agrees, says, I love the Jurassic Express reunion. Heel Randy would go crazy with the strap, says Dion. The cold stare as he hovers over Cody's body. I agree. I think they should have went through with it. Again, if the reports are to be believed, Cody loses the title to McIntyre on account of a interference by Drew McIntyre or interference by Randy Orton accidentally, maybe leading towards that heel turn. Whenever it does happen, though, that heel run of Randy should go crazy. Heel Randy's one of the best Randys, I think. Kyle says, what are your thoughts on Vince? To me, the IWC hate is undeserved. We all loved Vince knowing he was like that, and the Grant thing is purely about money. I hope he gets love before it's too late. I can't talk too much about the Janelle Grant stuff, because that's going to be personal feelings. Based off of what we read in the transcripts and in the text messages and all of that, it solidifies to me what I already knew about Vince that I was able to, create my own notion about. I do not think Vince is a good person. I think for what he's done for the business, for what he's done for WWE, absolutely, he should be you know, appreciated in that regard, I can appreciate him in that regard as to what he's done for professional wrestling. Um, with the reports coming out of what had transpired during that time, it's tough for me to overlook it. And also, if you strip all of it away, those last set of years in the WWE when he was still in control, the storylines were not good. Look at where Roman Reigns was, you know, as the big dog. That's just an example. Was not doing good. Coming out of the pandemic era, it was okay. It wasn't great. It was okay. And it picks up when Triple H takes over. I thought Vince became out of touch with the audience, and he was so hell bent on doing what he wanted and not what the fans wanted. And that's what got Triple H over early on, is listening to the audience, giving them what they wanted, rewarding them for long-term viewing. Vince, to me, towards the end, just wasn't cutting it. Does it make you sad they remove Matt? Oh, I know, yeah, from 6 Feet Under podcast for Taker's wife. I don't know, man. It rubs me the wrong way. Cool, doesn't ask any questions, and is quiet. Yeah, no, that sucks too. I thought Matt was a great co-host with the Undertaker. When I first started watching that podcast, I looked at Matt and I was like, "Who is this guy? Who is this guy?" But he kind of really brought it back down to the foundation of the conversation. Obviously, they put Michelle McCool there because it's his wife. Also, she's a big name in wrestling, former champion, Hall of Famer, whatnot. That's why they did it, for a publicity standpoint. But I think Matt was the better host. I don't even think you have to argue that. So, yeah, it did make me a little sad that they removed him. Do I think it hurts the show? I'll tell you right now, dethroned by Eli. Since they brought the show back and brought Michelle McCool, I haven't seen an episode. I just haven't. Dion says, as the crowd cheers for Randy, sounds good, but I'm waiting for something different like Cody turning heel before Randy. Just for the silence in the crowd, like, why Cody, why? Yeah, it's something different. It would be a shock value, but I just don't think, not yet. Don't turn Cody heel just yet. Dion says, I think that's best for TV. Something to shake things up. Can't argue that. But I do think it's too many faces, and I also like where they're going with Jay. You just don't know what direction they're going. I do agree that there are too many faces. We don't have any solidified heels. The Vision is like your biggest heel group. Gunther was your biggest heel. He's not there anymore. I do agree with you. We need more heels. Will says, I honestly feel that the heel turn of Jimmy Uso of not making Jay Uso tribal chief is now a waste of a heel turn. And now that Jay is acting like Roman Reigns, it does get a little bit inconsistent when you think about it. Now them coming back together since having their feud last year, the only reason I look past it, I'm like, well, they're brothers. They're brothers. They're going to get back together. But if they weren't brothers and they were just friends or whatever, yeah, it would be kind of annoying to see them flip-flop. Robert says Vincent and Dutch will be huge in the WWE. Are we talking about the Righteous? Is that a thing? Are they actually coming? Because we haven't seen them on AEW for quite some time, and there was reports saying that they were interested in them. I wonder if that's the case. And would they be on NXT, or would they jump to the main roster? I would think NXT. Speaking of NXT, what are your guys' thoughts on this upcoming episode of NXT TV where Obafemi and Trick Williams go one-on-one TNA title versus the NXT title, winner take all? Do you think we're actually going to get a definitive finish? Are we actually going to get a win here for someone? Or is it just going to be broken up by TNA stars? I think that's a strong possibility. I see you, Dion. Have a good night, my friend. Appreciate you stopping by on the stream. Thank you for the great questions and the great conversation. Hope to see you on Thursday's stream, buddy. Have a good night, man. But I look at that matchup between Obafemi and Trick Williams, the winner-take-all matchup. It is advertised as winner-take-all, and whoever wins is going to face off against Ricky Saints. I just have a feeling that it's not going to be conclusive. I think that there's going to be some TNA involvement, whether it's Mike Santana, Joe Hendry, the Hardys. I don't know. I think we're going to get some interference. I do not think that we're going to get a double champion already. And I think it'll set up some kind of matchup where we're going to get multiple TNA stars versus multiple NXT stars. Is it War Games? Maybe. I don't know. But still. Will the Savage says, good night. I'm going to go to bed. Talk to you on Thursday, my friend. Great you could be here. Appreciative. Blessed to have you a part of the stream. Everyone have a great night. Appreciate you guys. Reese says, I have a feeling that Seth is going to finally beat Cody. I agree with you, Reese. Don't want to give away my predictions, but hey, you know, that look he had in the locker room thinking about Cody and how he hasn't beaten him yet. Seth is locked in. Seth is locked in. Dethroned by Eli says they need some big hitters in VA TNA, not just NXT. And vice versa. Yeah, but you know they're not going to go main roster, right? So TNA, I mean, you're looking at baby faces like I mentioned, Joe Hendry, Mike Santana probably leading the charge. I would guess maybe Steve Macklin also involved there, maybe the Rascals. I do not think we're going to see main roster guys. As for NXT, it looks like it's just going to be like Trick Williams, Obafemi, of course, Javon Evans. People that have already been involved, essentially. We're going to continue to go live here just for a little bit longer. Unfortunately, due to the technical difficulties that we experienced early on in the stream, I had to maneuver around everything and move to the vertical. I used to be a big fan of the vertical because it was getting a lot of attention here online, and I prefer the other setup. Aesthetically, it's more pleasing, but again, had to call an audible and do it that way. But I appreciate you guys for bearing with us and being able to again maneuver around it all. Javon Evans, you think will do good on the main roster? I do. I really do. I think he still needs some fine-tuning, of course, especially in the promo department. But I still think he has a lot of tangibles that will allow him to improve on the main roster, certainly develop a following as he already has here on NXT. I think the sky's the limit for a guy like Javon Evans. They might have found, like, I love Jeff Hardy, and it's very difficult to compare, but I could see them in that similar role, you know? Sky's the limit, though. Shout out to Dethroned by Eli. All love, all support. I can't thank you enough for continuing to, support this venture. You guys are the real MVPs of these streams and allow us to keep doing what we're doing and striving for a better stream and a better channel. And without you guys, it certainly wouldn't be anything. So I appreciate that, Eli. Thank you so much for the love and support. Robert says, Karrion Kross and Scarlett and the Righteous are together in the Indies. Gonna hit NXT and TNA. I still think that's very much a possibility. I think even with the departure of Karrion Kross, he could still very much pop in like in TNA and NXT. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility at all. It's tough to keep up with the Karrion Kross stuff, though. I mean, there's so much wrestling out there to keep up with. I try to maintain a presence on the indies, especially like GCW. But I'm pulling for him. I really am. Mohammed says, do you think that ESPN will last long with the WWE? I heard Saturday was a complete mess. I heard okay, so to answer your question, I don't know what the deal was. Was it a 5-year deal? I don't remember hearing necessarily. I would think, though, that they're going to lock in that that contract with them, that is. As for, was it a mess? I think in programming-wise, the show could have definitely have been better. However, I did see that people were having issues with the stream itself. I didn't. I saw people were having some buffering issues and the streaming wasn't really the best. I didn't have that at all. Smooth sailing, except for one time during the Cody matchup, but it was only for a couple seconds. But I did hear a lot of complaints about the quality of the stream. But now we're on the road to Crown Jewel. Will not be taking place in Saudi Arabia. It will be in Australia, so that'll be something different. Looking forward to the show. Dethroned by Eli says Jones didn't want Wilson's jersey. Made more headlines than Wrestlepalooza. I'm telling you, dude. Wrestlepalooza for all like the... I didn't think we were going to be talking about that. It's a shame. It really is. Vince McMahon wanted Raw to be back in USA Network. I like the Netflix deal, I will say. One, because it's live worldwide, so we get to watch it in real time. That's cool. Oh, come on, Reese. Sorry to hear about your boy Bosa. Man, Reese, I'm telling you. So I was at work when my brother texted me, and I wasn't aware. Obviously, I'm at work. And I read the news. He says, no context at all. My brother says it was his ACL. And then I start getting all the notifications from Bleacher Report, from ESPN, Bosa suffers ACL tear. And it's like, come on. Even with all the injuries to Kittle, Brock Purdy, Jawan Jennings, Brandon Ayuk, even through all those injuries, we're 3-0. We look decent. Could be better. That Arizona game was ugly. But even with those injuries, we're 3-0, and it's like Bosa's out with an ACL. Truthfully, I'd donate my ACL to Nick Bosa if I could. What the hell do I need my ACL for? For me personally. If I could surgically remove it and ship it over to Nicholas John Bosa, I would do that for him, for the Niners. He'll be gone for the year. Hopefully we can still make a run. I like where the team is at, especially even though we have the injuries. When we get everyone back, I think we'll even be better. But without Bosa, that defensive line's not the same. He was a game changer. And to know that he's going to be gone for the remainder of the year and possibly the first month of next season, it's a tough loss. It's a tough loss. I've seen reports that maybe we could go after Trey Hendrickson, one of the defensive linemen in Cincinnati, for the right price. I wouldn't be mad at that, just to make sure that we're still in contention. But, man. Kevin, what's going on, buddy? Kevin asks, will there be a rematch, Cena and Brock? I'll be honest with you, I hope not. I hope not. Reports are saying no. We've seen reports say that this was a one-off, which makes me even more upset. But I'm hoping not. Dethroned by Eli says, San Fran has enough rings, bro, especially the Warriors. You guys don't need more right now. You don't understand. You understand. The Warriors, I will give you. I will totally give you. We've won 4 championships in the last decade. I'll concede to that. The Giants, the San Francisco Giants, have won 3 World Series over the last decade, maybe a little bit more. It was 2010, it was 2010, 2012, 2014. The Niners, you got to understand, Eli, have not won a championship since 1995. That was before I was born. I have never seen my team win a championship. Now, granted, there are plenty of other fan bases out there that have not seen their teams win a championship. Yes, we have 5 rings, but I haven't seen any of them. You know, my dad saw them all. I didn't get to see them. My brother hasn't seen them. I'm not asking for a dynasty, Eli. I'm just asking for one. You give me, if San Francisco The 49ers give me one ring, I'm set. I'm set because I would have seen the Giants win 3, the Warriors win 4, and the Niners win 1. Just 1. That's it. That's not too much to ask for. Robert says, a WrestleMania in Saudi, this will be the least traveled by... Yeah, no, absolutely, and that is something to consider. I, as messed up as is, I hope that event doesn't sell. Because I know the prices are going to be up there. We're going to get a lot of celebrities, a lot of those, major fans like Smiley, the green shirt guy. I'm thinking a lot of streamers are going to be there. But again, for the common fan like you and I who watch the shows day in and day out, not going to be there because 1 is in Saudi Arabia, and 2 because the prices are egregious. The prices are so high that a guy like Snoop Dogg couldn't imagine it being any higher. Kevin says, I saw a report that said we almost got Randy betraying/interfering with Cody and Seth, setting up Cody versus Randy. I saw the same report, and honestly, I wish that would have happened, because at least it would have added a level of intrigue to the show. But alas, we did not get that. They played it safe. I'm telling you, Wrestlepalooza, they played it safe. And something that's okay. But when you have an event like Wrestlepalooza for the first time ever on ESPN trying to attract viewers from everywhere, sometimes you got to take that swing, and they didn't. And they didn't. I wish they would have, though, Kevin. I really do. We're going to go live here for another couple minutes. Make sure you guys drop in your questions and your comments down in the chat. We'll try to get to every single one of them along the way. As we continue, though, to unwind here on the stream, I want to thank you guys again for bearing with us. A little bit of technical difficulties, but we were able to straighten it out and get the stream going on a different format, no less. If you haven't already, make sure you follow us on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram at JAreaPod_. That's once again at JAreaPod_. The next time you'll see us go live will be this upcoming Thursday for our NXT No Mercy prediction stream. And also, make sure to keep up to date with all things pro wrestling by having your notification bell on to know when we go live and when we upload videos. So, Kevin also in the chat here says, let's be real. The current roster is insane. They have enough to milk 5 years worth of content and rivalries. Playing the safe route is good. You're not wrong. And also, when you take into consideration the NXT roster and also the TNA roster, because let's face it, guys like Joe Hendry are going to jump over, they do have enough wiggle room to rock with. And that's why I can't get too mad. But still, that's the only sense of it that I could make. A lot of people were complaining about it, but I was saying it's the safe route. I would have liked maybe one kind of surprise, but it's fine. I say these things and these critiques, and people say like, oh, well, stop watching the show. I'm still going to watch it. Let's be real. I've been watching it for 25 years. With the exception of maybe 1 year. From like 2019 to 2020, I kind of stopped watching. I still knew what was going on. I kept up to date, but I kind of stopped watching. But again, all the jargon, if you enjoyed the stream, give it a like. Comment down below some of your questions and comments for future streams. I do try to keep up with all the comments, as well as make sure you subscribe. If you don't subscribe to the channel, you can't participate in these streams. And what are you waiting for? Go ahead and subscribe. We already have over 9,000 people subscribed to the channel. Why don't you join the party, join the J Area, join the conversation, and become a member today? Kevin, I'm going to do this one last. Kevin says, did you see Stephen A's top 5 wrestler list? Goldberg at 1 is crazy. I did. He started okay, too, because at number 5, he had the Road Warriors. Okay, one of the greatest tag teams. I'll give you that. Then he goes number 4, The Rock. Okay, not mad at that. The Rock is great. Cool. Number 3, he says Hogan. Okay, hey, I'm not a Hogan guy, but I'm fine with that because Hogan is a big deal in pro wrestling. Then at number 2, Ric Flair, which I'm like, okay, now we're talking. Ric Flair, I'll give you that. And then at number 1, yes, he's got to be rage baiting, is Goldberg. That's crazy. And Triple H, you could tell, he was joking about it, but no, Triple H was a little upset. Some of the greatest of all time. I mean, to me, is Shawn Michaels. I think Ric Flair is certainly in there. If you would have said Hogan, I would not have been mad. Dusty Rhodes is up there for sure. Stone Cold wasn't even on the list, who should be up. The Taker, I think, should be on that list as well. John Cena. Like, there are so many guys over Goldberg that I would have put over, but it's his list, man. I respect him for having the bravery to share that, because a lot of the fans, us included, were a little annoyed that Bill got the number 1 spot over a lot of other guys. Stephen A is a casual. He is, Kevin. I think you're right. He's a rage baiter. But he knows his role and he plays it well. It's very entertaining. I'll give him credit. What is your thoughts on Pat McAfee making his return on Wrestlepalooza on Saturday night? It was fine. Pat McAfee's okay. I'm not the biggest Pat McAfee fan. I like him in like guest appearances like that. It's fine. It was a pleasant. I would say it was a pleasant surprise, but then like in hindsight, it's like, well, it is Indianapolis. Of course he's going to be there in Indy. It was nice seeing Pat there, but I'm much a fan of the 2-man booth. I love Corey Graves and Michael Cole. I think they're great. Joe Tessitore and Wade Barrett, great. Pat McAfee to me kind of messes up the flow sometimes, but in guest appearances, totally fine. Totally fine. Kevin says, I like what Pat McAfee offers outside of the ring. I like his podcast, his segments on ESPN. He's a very entertaining individual. I think he's very entertaining. One of the greatest kickers of his generation. To me, it's just, in the wrestling world, it might be a little bit over the top for me. His commentary style might be a little bit over the top. It's not for everybody. Some people are into it. Me personally, it's hit or miss. So, don't hate him by any means. Just not a huge Pat McAfee guy in terms of wrestling commentary. But the Pat McAfee show, again, his segments on ESPN, very entertaining guy. He knows how to get a crowd going. Shout out to Tyler there in the chat. Appreciate you stopping by, Tyler. We are going to start closing down, though, on the stream. We're hitting that 1 hour mark. I try to make it an hour long. That way, not only I can be respectful of your guys' time, but also so that we can ensure another conversation on the next one. Can you imagine if we went for like 2 hours? That we wouldn't have much to talk about, right? But I appreciate you guys stopping by, talking pro wrestling here on a Monday night. Will we be going live on Thursday? Absolutely. With our Thursday stream, it will be the NXT No Mercy predictions live stream. That's this upcoming Thursday. We will be going live. Same time, same place. Hopefully, we'll be able to get the connection going a little bit better. But on Thursday, we'll be going live, talking about NXT, No Mercy, and the predictions, as well as what is else in store for the WWE. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate you, Kevin. I see you. I hope to see you there on Thursday. You take care as well, my friend. Everyone, have a great night. Have a great week. We'll see you this upcoming Thursday for our next live stream. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, be a part of the channel, be a part of the conversation. All love. Everyone stay safe. I hope to see you there on Thursday. Everyone take care.